was a key in turning the fortunes of the Boise State men's basketball program around in the 80s. The only player in Bronco history to start every game throughout his 4-year career, 118, and proud to say I saw them all. Childs was named the Big Sky Conference Freshman of the Year in 1986. In 87, 88, and 89, he received first-team All-Big Sky Conference honors at guard and was named the league's most valuable player following his senior season of 1988 and 1989. He was also a member of the National Basketball Coaches Association All-District Team in 1988 and 1989, the third leading scorer in Bronco history with 1,602 points. He holds the school record for career free throw percentage at nearly 82%. 3-point field goals made at 163. And there's the one that won the championship. Is that right, Chris? Was that it? No, not yet. Okay, he'll be coming up here shortly. Boise State's first trip to the NCAA coming up in a few moments. It'll be a move on the baseline, left-hand side there. Is this a picture that was in Sports Illustrated? This picture appeared in Sports Illustrated. Well, Arnell got his picture in Sports Illustrated as well. That's Doug Usatillo to Chris for the layup at the University of Utah in the game against the Michigan Wolverines. There it is. That's the one that won Boise State's first championship and a trip to the NCAA. Truly one of the big moments, most exciting moments in Boise State sports history. This again back in Montana State. Another look at it, same shot. Never get tired of looking at that. And this was last year with the New Jersey Nets, where #1 became a very marketable commodity in the NBA. He is now with the New York Knickerbockers. Chris Childs, our first Hall of Fame inductee tonight. And to induct Chris into the Hall of Fame, his coach, Bobby Dunn.
I didn't realize I was going to be the guy to induct Chris, but what a big thrill for me anyway. I think what Paul said about Chris in regards to the turning of the program, I think Chris had so much to do with that. I was thinking today about the Utah game, which Chris was a sophomore in the NIT tournament. I don't know if people would remember that game. I think Chris Childs, as much as any guy that's ever played at Boise State, any sport at Boise State, would have to be one of the great players ever. I think what Chris and that group did for the university and how basketball came forward with Chris at the helm, I think, was very apparent. Chris, I don't know what more to say other than I'm so very, very proud of you, and why don't you come on up here, buddy? How you been out of speech? You know, it's amazing as the years have gone by. I think back to some of those earlier times where some of the great knockdown brawls took place between he and I. There's another guy running around here tonight that was also a part of those brawls. But one of the great competitors ever, right here. Great competitors. He was never at a loss for words when he was with me. While he's gathering himself, I'd like to just say this. And as I look at the list of people that are being inducted tonight, what an impressive group of people. I remember Pete so vividly with the football guys. You know, I was here with all these guys, and when I look at that track group, what a stud group of guys. I was thinking about Steve Muse today, and I can remember Troy Kemp. We'd be in practice of basketball, and we wouldn't let anybody in there. It was just our team, except one guy would come up to me and say, "Coach, would you mind if I run those stairs 747 times?" Practice. And would always say, "Yeah, Troy, you go ahead." And about that time, here comes a big fellow over here. How you doing? I remember this guy right here, and the big fella running around here. I don't know where he's at. Arnell, I know he'll be up here a little later. I remember one time where we had practice. It was on the 31st of December. And I had said to our guys, you know this, the morning of January 1st. So I had said to our guys, I tell you what, this was a tough group of guys, and I remember saying to them, we're practicing tomorrow morning, January 1. I don't want any of you guys coming in here late. We're practicing at 8 o'clock. Don't give me any guff. You make sure that you get your rear ends in here. And on and on and on about we were in practice at that time. And I mean, it was 3 or 4 days in a row where I just hammered everybody about, you will be there, and don't tell me you're going to be there. I don't want to see anybody late. Yada, yada, yada. Well, that night, I went to a party, and I remember my wife saying to me, what time? Last thing I remember is her saying, the next thing I remember is her saying, what time is practice today? And I said, 8 o'clock. She said, it's 10 after 8. And I raced down to get to the pavilion for practice. And of course, he, with his big smile on his face, trying to act like it's no big deal. And he said to me, Coach, I bet you look good with that shade on your head last night. Like I said, he's never lost for words, but it had to do with me. You know that? Yeah, I forgot.
Everyone hear me? No, I don't like this mic. Man, that's something. You know, I called Coach, yesterday, and he told me he wasn't coming. I tried to play it off like I was okay, but I wasn't. You know, thank you. I really mean it. Thank you very much. All right, let's go. I don't have a speech, but I just want to thank a lot of people, the Hall of Fame committee, the administration, the city of Boise, everybody that's really supported me, throughout the good years, the bad years. And this is home now. This is my home. I know I go home to Bakersfield with my family, but this is what I call home. And I really appreciate, everybody in here for coming. My in-laws, Jay, Lori, Todd, Effie, Brian. And we've had our battles too. We had some knockout, drag out battles, but Gene, Drew, Jake, thank you. Coaches, where's Coach Jake? I thought you were going to be up here. When Coach wasn't coming, I thought you were going to be here. Coach B, Coach Ryder, who is not here anymore, but he was a big part of my success and my growing as a player and a person. I don't want to forget everybody. I have this little card in here, but the heck with that. Who else have I forgotten? My mother's here. It meant a lot for her to be here. My grandmother, my sister, my brother. And, the one that's really needs to get inducted in the Hall of Fame is my wife. Thank you. All through the years, being bad when I was out there, just being a teenager and trying to become a man, and it took me a long time when I was out there partying, drinking, just doing what everybody else does. But she stuck by me, and I share this award with her more than anybody. My son, my 2 daughters.